Welcome to Whiteboarding Fundamentals. Now, today is not about teaching you how to draw. It's about teaching control. When you use a slide deck, you are often just presenting at the customer. By using a whiteboard, you allow your customers to be drawn in. You build with them. It becomes collaborative. But you've got to do it right and without making a mess. So today, we're going to jump into the 5 fundamentals of whiteboard discipline: prep, mechanics, stance, color, and execution. Now, before you even start to draw on the board or even open your mouth, you need to respect the canvas. And the rule number 1 is work from a clean slate. If you walk into a room and the board is messy, clean it immediately. A dirty board is a sign of a dirty mind. Now, there may be times you come into old ghost letters that are stuck on the board or previous drawings. If you want to get rid of this, don't use soap. That will actually ruin the board. Simply take a new marker, color over that lettering. This will activate the dry ink and you'll be able to easily wipe it off. Now you look like a pro. Number 2, trust but verify. Now, we don't know if this is a dry erase marker or maybe somebody slipped a sneaky permanent marker into our whiteboard collection. So, first thing we'll do, verify it's not permanent. Then, test them. See if each of your markers are working as they should do. Nothing brings a presentation to a halt more than picking up a dry marker and faltering, looking for something else, not being able to use the color that you need. Now, once you've verified, we're going to go ahead and talk about drawing. Now, our brains work on a pattern recognition basis. That means we don't need to see an entire image to know what it is. We simply need to agree on it. That's a person. A database. A computer. They have to be simple. If you're spending more than 5 seconds drawing an image, you're taking way too long. Now we've agreed on what these patterns are. Now, the mechanics. When you're actually putting ink on the wall, there are 4 rules to go on. First, all caps. Cursive is messy. Small letters can be hard to decipher. The rule of all caps means that you're always going to be able to be seen from anywhere in the room. The next is size. Always go a little bigger than you would think. Standard rule, at least 2 inches depending on the size of the room that you're in. Now, the next is what we call the 90-degree lock. Oftentimes, when people are writing on a board, they'll reach. What happens is we get an arc. This will lead to very messy whiteboarding. First, lock your arm at 90 degrees, and then move across the board as you are writing. This will ensure nice, smooth lines without that arcing. And then, when you're ready, plant your feet and address the audience again. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that we do is talking to the wall. So we go by what's called a 45-degree rule. Never stand with your back to the audience. Don't stand with your shoulder to the audience. It's very difficult to reach the board. Plant your feet at a 45-degree angle. When you're ready, simply pivot 45 degrees. Turn back to the audience and begin speaking again. Now, when you're writing your point in silence, it does two things. First, it creates curiosity. What are you going to say next? The second is it gets away from the confusion that can be caused by writing and talking at the same time. Turn to the board, write your piece, pivot back, then speak. The last one, when it comes to our positioning, is where we stand on the whiteboard. I'm right-handed. It's easy for me to pivot and draw. But if I'm right-handed and I stand on the other side, I have to either awkwardly write or I turn my back to the audience again. Turn back to 45 and you're opening up your chest. You're facing your audience. They're going to be a lot more connected with you. So, finally, colors are absolute psychological cues. 4 colors you should have. Black. This is for structure. This is for the way things are. We associate black like we do the text in textbooks. The next is red. Now, red is for pain, bugs, costs, things that are going wrong. Our brain is naturally attuned to associate red with things that are going wrong. It's a problem. You remember tests from school where the teacher would always mark in red. Then we have blue. Now, blue is a neutral color. It's for flow, for arrows, for connecting lines. And finally, green. And green is good. Green is the color of most money. Green is the solution, the future state. Green is the hero. Now, never write your customer's problem in green and never write our solutions in red. Now, before we wrap up, there are really 3 key tips. Number 1 is the finger eraser. Don't do it. The oils in our skin will mess with the whiteboard and cause smudging and get your hands dirty. Always hold the eraser in a hand where you don't have your marker. Number 2, the validation check. The validation check means don't just draw for 20 minutes, turn around and explain it to the audience. You want to check in every time you finish a particular section and say, does this look right? Am I missing anything? Would you like to come up and draw? And number 3 is the photo finish. Now, this is the most important rule for all enablement of your customers. If you don't take a picture, it's almost like the meeting never happened. So, at the end, snap a clear picture of the photo of the board and include it in your follow-up email. That image is the proof that the meeting happened and you can work on that together. So, bringing it all together. The first step. Respect the canvas. Start clean. Rule number 2. All caps. No cursive. Number 3. Own your body. Practice the 45-degree pivot. Open your chest to the room. Keep your arm at a 90-degree angle. Use color with intent. If it's a pain, it goes in red. And then seal the deal. Validate often. Always take a picture at the end. If you take these simple steps, you're well on your way to pulling off a great whiteboarding session.